Sergei Lavrov loved to travel, and it might appear that the story of Africa, it is a good example time to travel before the invasion of Ukraine. This was last week in his visit in Burundi, with uncompromising message from the world when he decided to send this message to the US with its alliance NATO.
Since the West insists that there is no other basis for resolving the Ukrainian situation except for the notorious Zelensky peace formula, and at the same time Zelensky's team threatens, after liberating, as they put it, the Crimea and the eastern regions of Ukraine, to start killing every Russian and destroy everything Russian there, the conclusion is very simple. The West directly supports the genocide.
After this word, it was not surprised to see why the whole African continent, they stand with Russia and support Russia through the United Nations votes. Now it was the turn for the Burundi president to give also his point of view on which side Burundi is standing when it comes to this conflict.
We have taken an abstentionist position, a position of neutrality, a position of non-alignment to prevent this conflict from reaching other regions, more specifically the African continent. We must mitigate the impact of this conflict, of this situation in Ukraine, in particular by taking a neutral position, and this is the position of most African countries on this issue.
In South Africa, it was not only ministers getting a warm welcome. Last month, the Russian military defense came to do their military exercise in South Africa. They even did invite South Africa to join them in this military between China and Russia. For those who are running ANC, there is no need for South Africa government to arrest Vladimir Putin in his arriving in South Africa as the ruling party. Their relationship with Russia, it is shoulder to shoulder.
If it was according to the ANC, we will want President Putin to be here even tomorrow.
You would?
To come to our country. But
you would welcome Vladimir Putin here right now?
Of course we will welcome.
A man who is being investigated for war crimes by the International Criminal Court.
We will welcome him to come here as part and parcel of BRICS, but we know that we are constrained by the ICC in terms of doing that. Putin is a head of state. Do you think that a head of state can just be arrested anywhere? How many crimes have your country committed in Iraq? How many crimes have everyone else who's so vocal today committed in Iraq and Afghanistan? Have you arrested them? You
know the impact that this stand of yours...
You're making a lot of noise about putting in state of working for peace between Ukraine and Russia, and you fail to resolve the war. Where are the weapons of mass destruction?
This question still remains unanswered. Whether it is from the Western, whether it is the USA, whether it is British, whether it is any NATO country, this question no one have not answered it yet. Now the next question is, will President Vladimir Putin have to attend this upcoming BRICS summit in August, when there is a lot of pressure that South Africa is receiving from the International Criminal Court with the USA and NATO country to arrest Vladimir Putin in his arriving here? How possible will South Africa have to deal with all this pressure? Well, South Africa said that it could give Vladimir Putin a diplomatic immunity to come in South Africa and he won't be arrested. What message will South Africa be sending to the world, especially the Western, who seem to be also South Africa partners? Still again, what message will that be sent to the other 100+ countries who had signed for this International Criminal Court, ICC?
The message is that South Africa would have been showing that it prefers its relationship with Mr. Putin to its relationship with all the member states of the Rome Statute. But it is important to ensure that this does not become a round two of what we experienced when ICC had issues with South Africa in relation to al-Bashir. It is, everyone must try hard to avoid that to be a redux of that situation.
Here you need to keep in mind that this International Criminal Court, the majority of countries who have signed for these ICC laws, majority comes from Africa. That simply means to say that if South Africa shows the road, the rest of Africa countries will have to do the same, because everyone who are inside that ICC are tired. Remember, this was not the first time when South Africa was asked to arrest a head of the state inside South Africa. Omar al-Bashir is the Sudanese president who was in touch with this international criminal court. So South Africa was asked to arrest this Sudanese president in his arriving. We all know what happened and how the government of South Africa was taken to the courts in order for them to arrest Omar al-Bashir. Regardless of all those pressure, South Africa did not give up, and Omar al-Bashir ended up leaving South Africa as a free man. If South Africa did refuse to not arrest Omar al-Bashir in South Africa, how many times with Russia president who have been there for so many years since the time of apartheid? Whether Vladimir Putin come in South Africa or not, America is already start accusing South Africa of supplying weapons to the Russia government. All that happens without proof. These allegations were second supported by the Open IMAS representative in South Africa, so-called opposition political party. Remember, in South Africa we have two opposition political party. I believe it sounds surprise to you because even in your country you know that there is only one opposition party and one ruling party, but unfortunately in South Africa we seem to have two different opposition political party, one who's working in favor of black South Africans and one representing the Open IMAS, which is British, US with its alliance. So this opposition, they criticize the ANC point of view on Russia and the Ukraine conflict. It says that the ANC suggests it is simple as comrades and not money. For them, they are saying that the ANC is calling sanctions on South Africa because Russia, they don't even trade that enough in South Africa in order for them to be protected by the ANC government. So they prefer to support US and NATO country because they believe they have a lot of investment in this country. They did not stop there. Instead, they even went far by starting advertising on the roads and trying to impose their suggestions to the government of the ANC. And their main point here is for the ruling party to let go of Vladimir Putin and support US, British and the whole Europe countries that are supporting Ukraine. Now you understand why I always say that, show me who are your friends, I'll tell you who you are. When the entire Africa, they are standing with Russia, here comes some people who are claiming to be Africans, yet they are supporting Ukraine. Don't forget that this is the same political party which had already go to the courts in order for the court to forbid South Africa government to welcome Vladimir Putin in August. With that being said, let us now have what is happening diplomatically. Well, each and every NATO country wants to see Vladimir Putin to be arrested. Germany foreign minister, she called for Vladimir Putin to be arrested in South Africa. UK government, they are also calling for South Africa to arrest Vladimir Putin. So to make this list short, everyone who are against Russia, they want to see Russia going down by arresting Vladimir Putin. But this brings us to ask ourselves this one question. And the question is, let's say even Vladimir Putin is being arrested by South Africa. What guarantee do these countries have that will bring peace in Ukraine? Because even if they get to arrest Vladimir Putin, he can be replaced by someone who can even be more harsh than him. Come to think of it, according to me, according to my analysis, this war, this battle is no more about Russia and Ukraine. This has becoming something else. Yes, you heard me correct, because when you get to listen to how they are getting to fight Russia, you'll definitely understand that this is an economical open war between BRICS country, G7 and G20. So the US with its alliance, they are seeing that they are losing the battle. When it comes to economical, it is more obvious that the G7 and G20, they are losing the battle because BRICS economy is growing even more faster. During his days in South Africa, India foreign minister had to say this:
we are a symbol of change and must act accordingly. Among the key threats to international peace and security is that of terrorism. All nations must take resolute measures against this menace, including its financing and propaganda. Our gathering must send out a strong message that the world is multipolar, that it is rebalancing, and that old ways cannot address new situations. A BRICS meeting is an important event in our diplomatic calendar, and more so at a time when the international situation is challenging.
These words are a threat to the USA with its alliance. So it is even more obvious that they will have to do everything in their power to fight Russia, because they want to bring some instability in the BRICS countries. Right now, let us focus on BRICS summit. It is scheduled for August. South Africa will be hosting it. But there is a problem though. South Africa has been a member of the BRICS countries. At the same time, South Africa is a member of the International Criminal Court, the ICC. Last year, the ICC had launched an arrest warrant against Vladimir Putin. What does that mean? That means South Africa will have to arrest Vladimir Putin in his arriving in South Africa for BRICS summit. In a simple way, South Africa is legally bound to arrest Vladimir Putin if he ever set foot in South Africa. Now the question to ask is, how will he attend the summit? The government of South Africa find an idea. They granted the diplomatic immunity to all attendants, to the foreign ministers who met last week, and to all head of the state who will meet in August. Don't forget, that include also Vladimir Putin in it. South Africa said this is a route that all the head of the state should be given a immunity to attend this summit. But still, one question still remains. Can South African national laws arrest the one of the international laws? On the other side, Vladimir Putin came up also with another interesting idea.
Since the West insists that there is no other basis for resolving the Ukrainian situation except for the notorious Zelensky peace formula, and at the same time Zelensky's team threatens, after liberating, as they put it, the Crimea and the eastern regions of Ukraine, to start killing every Russian and destroy everything Russian there, the conclusion is very simple. The West directly supports the genocide.
The US with NATO have invested a lot in South Africa, not financially but diplomatically. Their partnership with South Africa has been lacking for some time now, since South Africa decided to remain neutrally when it comes to this Ukraine and Russia war. Instead, they have been threatening South Africa that they'll put sanctions on South Africa if they can't arrest Vladimir Putin. Well, it is not the first time we get to hear these kind of things, because these are the same people who are now threatening the government of Uganda after Yoweri Museveni had passed the gay law. They already start doing so by cancelling all the visas that Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda had applied. They even threatened her through a phone call.
I was intimidated. We are going to lose out of drugs of AIDS. Aid is going to be cut off. Tourism, trade, export. I said, so what?
Before even Yoweri Museveni get to sign for these bills, they had told the Ugandan government that they'll put sanctions by stopping Google in Uganda and MasterCard.
A coalition of international companies, including Google and Microsoft, have denounced the anti-LGBTQ legislation passed by Uganda's parliament last week. The Open for Business coalition said the bill, which criminalizes identifying as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender or queer, would damage Uganda's economy by curbing investment flows and deterring tourists. Among the coalition's members, Google, MasterCard, Unilever, Standard Chartered, PwC and Deloitte all have operations in Uganda. Uganda's information minister was not immediately available for comment.
That you're going to be blocked from going to America. Do I need to go to America? I was sent here by people of Bukedea. I am what I am because of my people. I am not because I want to go and get a donation. If you're saying there will be no food, I'll go and dig cassava in Bukedea.
Here again, US, they are making the same mistake as always by using their tools, which is the US dollar, to sanctions each and every country as they wish. Now the question is to know, for how long will this have to continue if Africans we can't stand on our own? Well, regardless of this pressure, South Africa, they are not willing to give Vladimir Putin to be arrested by the ICC. Now that South Africa is refusing with Vladimir Putin, how will this relationship have to be They did ask this question to the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula. I personally, I totally agree with Fikile Mbalula on this one, because it is very simple. If the US with its alliance, they ever try to put any sanctions on South Africa, as they did with the people of Zimbabwe and many African countries, whereby they have to do as they pleases. But in this case of Ukraine and Russia, if they try to impose sanctions on South Africa, this will revolt each and every country had to choose to remain neutral in this conflict. Even those countries that have been voting for Russia, all of them, trust me guys, they will definitely be revolted immediately, and this will naked the US in front of everyone to see that USA, they have something else against Russia, but they want to use other countries. And I promise you that day, all the representatives of these countries I'm talking about, they will leave that United Nations without even giving their comments. And once that happens, you must know that the next things, there will be another world organizations which will have to come and replace the United Nations, the ICC, and the US dollar, which already BRICS is working on it. So guys, as I was saying, if US they try to put any sanctions on South Africa, all just because they choose to remain neutral, that will be their fall down, because no country will stand by their side when this starts happening. There is one more question. Why US with its alliance, they are putting a lot of pressure on South Africa? Can you guys get to see the mentality of how these people think about Africans? Because in BRICS, we don't only have South Africa as a black country. We have India, we have Brazil, we have China. Why they don't go and try with all these countries? Why do they have to come and insist on South Africa? Well, this is another one more proof on what I've been telling you in our previous video, that these people, they've been running this Africa in the way that they pleases. They get to choose who have to be a president. They finance them, they put them in power. When they're tired of you, they bring someone and they betray you, they give the power to someone else. They've been doing this, and they've been doing it for so many decades. So now they want to do the same things with South Africa. They want like to put more pressure on South Africa, so that if South Africa give up, them they'll win. But here is one thing that they are failing so far, and this one thing is to convince South Africa to do as they pleases. They know very well that if South Africa fail to do what they ask South Africa to do, by not arresting Vladimir Putin in his arriving in South Africa, this will put South Africa among the top 10 powerful nations in the world. Yes, you heard me correct. Imagine you are challenging the US, you are challenging the British, you are challenging the France, those former colonization countries. You challenge them and you came out as a winner. They will respect you. This will put you also to the place whereby they'll be like, when it comes to this, let's try with other African countries, or maybe other Asia countries or Europe countries. But when it comes to South Africa, we're not going to do this. And they know very well that if South Africa succeed to welcome Vladimir Putin, it will also even give more power to African countries. These African countries, they'll come also forwards and they'll start doing the same thing, sabotaging all the pressure or all the comments that the Open Eye Mast is sending to Africa. That is the fear they are having. What about on the side of Vladimir Putin? Putin need to be in South Africa. If Putin have to miss this summit, it will send also a very big message to the Western that we succeed. We put pressure on them, on the BRICS country I'm referring to, and they obey. They are afraid. Putin is afraid to go in South Africa. Putin, you know very well that if he goes to South Africa, will be arrested. And Putin on his side, he loves traveling. He loves to be seen in the diplomatic countries. Therefore, if he don't show up in South Africa, he knows already that okay, that will be his first defeat, which means he's not even gonna visit another country anytime soon. So he needs to come in South Africa. so that the ICC, US, NATO country, all of them, Europe, they'll understand that we are not dealing with a small boy. We are dealing with a big man who's not afraid of us. Yes. So Putin, that will be his mission. That is the reason why so far Putin have not given his position. Russia foreign minister, he was asked this question last week in their meeting of BRICS foreign ministers about whether Putin will attend this summit or not. He could not even give his point of view. Do you know why? Because they don't want to reveal everything. They want also to surprise the world. Putin wants to surprise the world because everyone now, it is all about South Africa. South Africa. Oh, South Africa. Will South Africa have to arrest Vladimir Putin? Yes or no? But we don't know whether Putin is coming or not. Do you know why? Because Putin wants to surprise. If Putin have to announce he's coming in South Africa, it will even bring many suspicious, and even people who want to hate him, they might even come and organize his assassination over here in South Africa. So he must remain in that position. If he have to come, then we're going to find out that day. But as I said through our analysis, that there is no way Putin will stay home. There is no way Putin, at this moment as we're talking, there is no way, not even by a small chance, that Putin will just miss this summit, because he knows it means a lot for him and for his diplomacy. If he appear inside South Africa, it will be a strong message that will be sending to the Western, the whole world. They will understand that, no, look, we're not afraid of you. What about South Africa with the ICC? Well, guys, don't worry. South Africa, they are already on the door. And it is, for your own information, actually, it is not all South Africa is leaving the ICC. The whole Africa continent country, they are leaving ICC, and they'll be doing this anytime soon. Anytime soon. A lot, they already start debating this inside the parliament, because remember, it's not something that you just decide on your own as a president. You need some of African countries, they need to discuss this through the parliament debates and vote for that, whether their country have to leave the ICC or they have to remain in. Some of the countries as well, they had, like for example here in South Africa, the ANC, they are the one who have to vote for that policy, and after that, if they approve it, they need to go through the parliament, and in the parliament, obviously we know that the ANC, they are the one who have the majority, and they'll make it pass even more easy. So don't worry about South Africa with the ICC. That ICC, which is full of Africans, all of them, they'll live there, because now it is more clear. We get to understand the intention of these people. Guys, how possible is it that you are not a ICC signer or signature, your signature is not in the ICC, but yet you get to applaud and approve or disapprove of each decision that the ICC takes? I'm referring to the US. They get to approve and disapprove whatsoever ICC does. They are not in. And for the obvious reasons, they never want to sign the ICC or to be part of this ICC, because they know that they are the one who always violate the international laws. They are the one who went to Afghanistan, commit some crimes there. What about Yemen? What about Syria? What about Libya? They are the same people who've been going all over Iraq. We can't even talk with Saddam Hussein. They commit crimes there. Some of them, they even agree them with their alliance. They are not there. So they know that the moment they sign this signature of the ICC, the next things, they'll be asked for them to come and give an explanation of all these crimes that they've been committing around the world. They are not in, but yet they are approving and disapproving. The ICC last year launched this arrest mandate against Vladimir Putin. They were the first one to jump and say that we welcome the ICC decisions on the arrest warrant against Vladimir Putin. See the kind of people we are dealing with. So the world have understand and that is why you see them losing control, because they are panicking, because they get to see that yeah, we're losing everything, especially now that Africa continent decided to trade with Russia and China instead of them. Do you know why? Because sometimes, come to think of it, guys, I rather deal with the devil that I know better than the angel that I don't know. Because I in our previous video, when we talk about what China have been doing in Africa and what USA have been doing in Africa, I get to see some comments. Some people, they were like, no, you can't talk about China, or they're almost the same in everything. So okay, fine, they are the same. I'm not saying that China, they're perfect. I'm not either saying that Russia, that they're perfect. For me, my wish, if it is up to me, I want Africa to be independent. We need to be on our own, doing our own things without depending on anyone. If anyone have to approach us, they have to approach us on their knees. Yes, because of our mineral, because of our natural resource that God had put inside Africa. They have to come with that respect, begging us. That is my point of view. That is my wishes. But in meantime, we get to that level. I rather trade with someone who's coming with that due respect, at least to consider me and see me as a human. Someone who's coming with the intention to say win-win. For an example, China, they went to Angola. They built a new city from scratch, from zero. A small city, not that big, but a small city building. They put school there, they put parks, like something more late, without asking for anything whatsoever. When they were done, they come with the keys, they put it there. Later on, the government of Angola decide also to do something in return, and they give them petrol in exchange. That's how it's supposed to be. Now give me one example of United Nations or Americans, they come in Africa, they do something like that. They don't do it. Instead, them with Europe, France, British, they come, they take our gold, our diamond, they're taking it for free. They don't pay anything in exchange. If you try to resist them, they try to find a way to remove you from power and put a puppet president who will be obeying to whatsoever they have to deduct him or her to do. So now you get to see at least the difference between these two countries. So for me personally, I rather deal with China or Russia than dealing with these NATO countries. Guys, we shall wait and see. We spoke quite a lot about this point, and what to maintain from this video is that Vladimir Putin is coming to South Africa and will be more welcome. Julius Malema had said it. If it requires for us to go and fetch Putin at the airport, bring him wherever he's going, we'll do so.
ICC, Putin is welcomed here, and no one is going to arrest Putin. If needs be, we'll go and fetch Putin from the airport to his meeting. He will finish all his meetings, we'll take him back to the airport. We're not going to be told by these hypocrites of the International Criminal Court, who know the real violators of human rights, who know the murderers of this world. We know very well where the US says we are going in to install peace. That place will never know peace as long as America has visited that place. President Putin is welcomed. We know our friends. We know the people who liberated us. We know the...
Julius Malema said it, not me. Thank you so much for watching this video up to now. We really do appreciate your presence here. Before you leave, make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time to watch our video, we'll really do appreciate it. Guys, allow me also to take this moment to just say thanks to each and everyone for your support, because we are now standing at 50,000 subscribers on YouTube and more than 150 subscribers on our Facebook page. So we really do appreciate each one of you that have been watching our video and supporting us. Please, if you want to become a member of our channel, you are more than welcome to do so by clicking on the link then you'll find some more members who are busy also supporting us, because we need all of you to be our members. Until we meet again, for now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon. Ciao, ciao.